I needed to turn on the OBS. So US30 started to lose its momentum on weekly and recently mitigated this zone, and we can expect possible reaction from the zone. However, it's really important to understand that it's much better to trade the reaction that is already happening and not trade the anticipation of reaction. Also, of course, we need to understand that yes, even though we have a high time frame zone hit, we first of all recently underwent this distribution here, which basically with these two breaks is confirmed. So daily is definitely a bearish market here. Yes, maybe it's not moving like really impulsively to the downside, and no, it's not the clearest bearish market. The impulses are weaky, the breaks basically pretty shallow and not that confident. But yeah, the bearishness from daily is there. However, on the 4 hours and on 1 hour, the market started arguably to create some kind of possible accumulation. Accumulation where in the weekly zone. So yes, ideally we will see some bullishness on middle time frames like 1 hour, 4 hours, a bit later in the weekly zone. However, if we look at how the price approached the zone, it underwent like multiple back and forth. So it's a kind of vertical accumulation, like I call it, when the price is not approaching the zone like this, and then makes one break to the upside. This is more like a redistribution to go to the downside. But this price action shows that there is some bullishness and there is some bearishness in the market. And then when I'm going to confirm it on lower time frames, I will base myself more in the middle time frame story. And let's look at 1 hour, for example. So at 1 hour, as we can see, the market tried to start some bullish price action here, but then failed. It was happening during the previous week, yeah. Then it created this local accumulation, started to break to the upside here. And while doing so, it created pretty clear price action here, mitigated the zone. And again, this is something I was talking right now about the weekly time frame, is that yes, it's possible to trade in this zone, but pay attention how weak the price action in the zone is. And so when the market actually started the move, it was pretty clear. So it created impulse, correction, and impulse. So what we have on 1 hour is basically this up impulse in the weekly zone after possible accumulation. Again, these are all pretty early bullish entries. And what we have on 15 minutes? On 15 minutes, we have a tap into a zone. So this is kind of like we just looked at weekly, daily. So this is what happening. This is what is happening right now on the daily time frame in terms of patterns. So we had this 1 hour bullish impulse. We had this reaction. So we had the tap. We had first reaction, second reaction, mitigation of the zone, then more reaction, more mitigations, and the zone started to hold. Started to show the reaction. And when you have a price action like this, your first expectation is this high as a target for the price action to take it. And of course, it's much better when higher time frames are also aligned with the story from middle time frames. However, this is not the case. And at the same time, 1 hour is pretty clear. So then later on 15 minutes, we created this impulse, and again, we tapped just, I think, right above the zone. We tapped into it. by the way. Okay. And then when 15 minutes impulse started, then pullback started, and we had a reaction going from the zone. I went to 1 minute actually, and what we had on 1 minute is again pullback in the form of vertical accumulation. What I mean by that is that the price didn't just fell into the zone, but on its way to the downside, it created some up moves also, which is showing us transfer from weak to strong hands. And then the market just started to create impulses and corrections. So impulse, correction, impulse, correction to the high, correction, impulse, correction. And when the market started to go and break this high, I just tried my entry. And it started pretty well. Then it went a bit like against me, then created one more, as you can see, impulse, correction, and possible impulse to the upside. And basically quickly and cleanly reached the target. So this was my main target, and the trade for the journal, it ran to 5R, and then later it ran even to 7R. But again, my take profit is 2R. So this data I'm recording is just for the journal to analyze later. So it created these impulses, started this rangy price action, however, overall holding bullishness, and then I don't remember. It created this deeper pullback, maybe deeper pullback, and started to go higher. So, but I didn't have any other trades during the day. And what it did later it so after the finish of this impulse correction, impulse phase, it created small pullback, broke here, now with not so big move, but it's still pretty clear. And then it started to be wicky, and then my day started today, Wednesday. And yeah, it was pretty bad, to be honest. So the main bias was still bullish. Why it was still bullish? As for confirmation for 1 minute, because we're still holding these impulses to the bullish side, and overall we are looking to take out first of all this high and then possibly these highs. However, the difference between these entries, which I will show right now, and this is of course the clarity of the market, because here we just have this continuous box, and it's not even tightening of price, because for example, this is kind of a tightening of price. It's pretty clear, not weak to the both sides, and this is just unclear price action. Okay, just unclear price action. However, what we had here is 1 hour impulse, correction, and possible continuation to the upside, and this is what I tried to trade. We tapped into the zone and started to move up. So this entry, as you can see, is basically absolutely the same as from yesterday. However, it's more wicky and not so clear, but it's there. So it's there. We had this impulse correction, and while the price was moving to the upside, I entered. The price actually developed pretty nicely in the beginning, so it just went to take to profit straight away. So my profit was here, take profit. But then it created pullback, it created one more push to the upside, so this is London Open, and then it created basically this this bearish move and started to create this this ladder, these waves of bearish price action here. And I ended up thinking, okay, we are not moving to the upside. We still have some bearish reasoning to enter from these zones. However, again, it's like it was a really bad idea. Basically, we can say that these two entries, this short and this short, were like emotional entries, and I will maybe tell about it a bit later. Yeah, but while the price started to move down, entered here, it was instant loser basically. And then price started to break back up. Took one more long here, again instant loser here, and one more short. So basically really nasty entries. Some FOMO definitely stepping in. And then lastly I said, okay, shorts are not working out, closed it maybe with minus 0.3 or 5 R, and decided to do what? We are approaching the lunchtime London, so I know that now we will start to have less liquid session. And what we had here is this bigger zone broke with this connector, like I call it. So we have a break of the zone and one more zone created. Price tapped into the zone and started this push to the upside, which I entered. And then the price just started to range. So it created impulse correction, this small impulse correction and more impulse, but never showed like real good price action, just ranged. However, overall remaining bullish. And maybe during next couple of hours it reached the target, and that's what it was. So what I definitely should have done better is first of all sticking to the bullish bias I had from the morning, and if I wanted to switch to the bearish side, I maybe needed, or I definitely needed to wait for a break at least below this zone, you know. So and then this entry is okay, even this entry is okay, you know. You have this impulse correction, possible impulse, it could work, and that's fine. With a bit, so my initial stop was this. With a bit bigger stop, it would work out and it would be like a loser and a winner. This entry in itself is not that good, but it worked out, and overall bias that held from yesterday, from today, is holding, so that's fine, I believe. And that was really interesting how clean the price action on gold was today. So overall the gold is bearish from higher time frames as for the moment, but of course it started to create this bullish push as a pullback from daily. And of course we have some free space to move to deeper zones. Again, I'm not saying we should trade it, but at the moment 1 hour, what they did is created this local accumulation and then started to break out of it with really clear price action. Why clear? Because we had this up impulse, this really tight correction, one more up impulse, correction, maybe some local manipulation, one more impulse, correction, impulse, a correction deeper into the zone, and then one more impulse, deeper correction, and now continuation. And so when I was looking at the charts, I realized we had this impulse correction, one more impulse correction, and what I did there is I was just looking at this 1 minute price action. So this was happening after I entered my first trade on US30, and I just didn't want to enter any more trades. However, if you compare this price action to what we had right now on US30, this is much more clear. This is just basically clear impulses, clear impulse into clean unmitigated zones, and then I was just forward testing. So this I was not taking any trades on gold, but I was thinking to myself, okay, if this zone wants to hold, then this would be a nice breaking point for impulse correction and a new impulse. So this was like a demo buy stop for 2R, which worked really nicely. Created one more clear price action and then started to stop. Then second time I was looking at it was basically with this impulse, possible correction and possible continuation to the upside, or maybe not that. No, with this, like impulse, small correction and impulse. So again, forward tested. This one developed not so good, but it also held the structure and delivered to take profit. Then the price started to move higher. What we had here is this impulse correction and possible continuation, which worked out again pretty nicely. So yeah, gold today was exceptional, but I traded US30. Yeah, so this was my recap, and I guess that's it for trading you. So I will just stop for now. And one more forward tested trade was here from GPP GPY. So what we had here is something similar to gold or US30. So overall bearish, but recently created bullish pushes, looking to take this high, and then just created local accumulation, started to hold the structure, started to move, created impulse correction. And here is like impulse correction, impulse correction on the break, entry. So pretty quick 2R like this, and it ran higher and will possibly run even higher. So from the mental state, so while I was taking these shorts, I was really feeling this FOMO, you know, and these are my emotions that I recorded live, so I will not read through it, but you can pause if you want, you can read through it. And this is a part of my mental game preparation, mental game training. So when you just record in real life how you feel, and of course, yeah, as always, when you have win, you feel a bit better. When you have a loser, you feel worse. It's just these chemical reactions in the brain that really affects it. So I just recorded it all, and yeah, definitely had some FOMO today. And today it all ended like fine, but yeah, overall the execution could be better. Okay, that's it for today.